The name is Rick Drogo. I don't need promo. 1v4 and knock your whole squad solo. Oh, wrong gun. Crash the party. Rick Drogo is still here. I'm still right in the center. I'm still checking out the political landscape. Now, I had to take Memorial Weekend off from the news, from Trump and Iran. And, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all the soldiers who have ever served. Memorial Day is especially about those soldiers who died while serving. So let's take a moment of silence and honor them. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who's still serving, whoever has served. And, that stuff, this is why I don't like talking about war. I don't like this war stuff being thrown around because, look, we've already got people who are dead from this Iran war. Who knows how many people in Iran, and who really knows how many people, how many Americans have died? They say it's like 6 or something, but then you get some of these other news channels, especially the far left ones, that say it's way more than that. So it's just sad. It is really sad. These people have made this their life, their career, their livelihood. And for somebody to just send someone to war, don't get me started. Look, I'm not going to get myself started, okay? But Memorial Day is very serious. And anyways, I thank God for the Army. Our Army is pretty goated, from what I understand. The Navy, goated. Marines, double goated. Everybody, all of them. I don't know all the branches. I need to do I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to watch, because I've heard some stories about our Army and our Navy and the way they're repping all over the world, how we just got them posted up with big old ships people can't mess with. Straight up nuclear activity. And but right now, we are going to tap back in to the pulse of the Iran war, or lack thereof war. I checked out because the news can bring some real drama and negativity, if you let it, just like anything in life. But I think you need to have a healthy balance with the news. And I hope you come to me for your news, because I'm going to give it to you straight. We're going to watch it all together. I've been watching Ground News this evening. I've been checking out Ground News. So they don't have much on YouTube, but they do have quite a bit on their social media accounts. Instagram, TikTok. So, that's where people are going for their news nowadays. That's the reality. So I would suggest subscribing to Ground News. I think I need to go on a mission to be sponsored by Ground News. And so Ground News, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get sponsored by Ground News and a supplement company, like Evogen, or who else do I like? Gorilla Mind is good. I like them. I really like, I'm about to try Morphogen. Morphogen is the new brand I'm going to be trying next week. I'm going to try all their stuff. I've heard good things about it. I just got HD, their protein. We're going to try their protein out tomorrow. There's a protein that I can't even think of the name of it. My favorite protein. I'm actually going to do a magic trick. Watch this. Oh, look at that. I know you like magic. Transparent Labs. I like their protein so much that I had to get it right. So Transparent Labs, right there. I don't like this flavor, strawberry. I got it. Well, I do like it, but only for a certain type of shake that we make in my house, and it's called a PB&J protein shake. Peanut butter and jelly, baby. You get the strawberry protein. We putting in bananas and peanut butters. And, yeah, maybe a little bit of creatine. And we're putting creatine in everything. Let's just be real. Hold on, but it's these. Oh, bless you. Bless me. But the reason I like Transparent Labs, so I really, when it comes to protein, I'm drinking chocolate. I'm drinking chocolate drinks. You got to keep it pretty plain with protein. If you've had a lot of protein over the years, you know that the exotic flavors are what's going to stink up the house or wherever you're at. So you stick with the chocolate, maybe vanilla, and you're good. But what I like about Transparent Labs is it doesn't have any sucralose in it. It uses stevia. So supposedly, sucralose is really bad for us. Causes cancer, supposedly. I think that's what they say. But here it is in all of this health supplement stuff. So it's in everything that I want. All my health supplements, my pre-workouts, my amino acids, anything that's got flavor, it's got sucralose in it. What a joke. That they're not really concerned about our health. They're just concerned about us making them gains. So, anyways, but I am trying HD Muscle. I think they use sucralose and monk fruit. I'm okay with the little sucralose, I guess. I'm hoping that I fast enough to kill everything. So, anyways, I'm just ranting right now. I haven't done a show in a few days, and I love to just talk to you. Let you have it. This is my show, so this is how we're getting down. So, anyways, we're gonna check the pulse of the Iran war. We're going to watch a couple clips from BBC and Face the Nation, and then maybe another one if we see something good. And that's it. And then we're going to be back tomorrow talking about the U.S. military. The strong, long arm of the law. All right. That's enough of me being weird. Let's check these guys out. And BBC, they're honest because they're not from America. Let's check them out.
The United States has launched what it is calling defensive strikes in southern Iran. The attacks on missile launch sites and Iranian mine-laying vessels come amid a fragile ceasefire between the two nations and attempts to reach a diplomatic solution to end the conflict. After the latest talks involving Iranian officials and Qatari mediators, the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said a peace deal with Iran will take a few days, but is confident the Strait of Hormuz will reopen soon.
Before Marco Rubio's gets to slapping his tongue around, I can't believe this is still going on. But it's the same thing. If you trying to tell me Iran isn't just leading us by the tail, obviously to me it's becoming more and more clear that it would seem Trump does not want to go to war. He does not want to wipe them off the face of the map, or he would have done it by now. There's enough attacking that's been going on to break the ceasefire. Remember, I'm new to politics. I'm just now really paying attention to our president, Donald J. Trump, a.k.a. the Teflon Don, and his actions and his words. I watched him in The Apprentice, okay, and I thought he was a real doucher. Let's be honest. He was great at being on TV. Good stuff. But he's like the same guy now. I hate to say it. It's the truth. I'm sorry, not sorry. So here we are with this TV personality, definitely a businessman, running the country, And it's just tough having somebody that's ripping on people. He's talking about don't listen to the dumb people who don't know anything about negotiations. Now, I'm not saying it's probably true. There's probably people out here that aren't that smart that are talking about the negotiations and they're like claiming, it'd be like if I claimed what's really happening. Yeah, I don't know anything. But just calling people dumb, man, I'm sorry. I just can't get with that. You're the president. Name calling and stuff like that is so childish to me. It shows a lack of real emotional maturity, maybe. There's no filter there, and I know that's what people liked about him in the beginning, but just imagine if, we were in a business meeting or I was at work, and I work with a bunch of roofers, guys that work hard, and I'm calling them dumb. Why did you do that? You're so dumb. Why would you put that shingle there? That's not how you do a California cut in the valley. You're dumb. You are a dumb person, okay? Let me show you how to do it. And then expect him to just like want to work for me still. Are you kidding me? Imagine you're a therapist and this person comes in, you've been treating them for 6 months and they're still hung up on the same thing, talking about their ex-boyfriend again. Yeah, are you dumb? Are you dumb? You're still talking about Billy? He's a jerk. He cheated on you. He hits you. Why would you care about him? You're a real dumb person. And then you expect them to come back and still see you. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I hate that. I hate that is our president, and that's who we need to support. We're still praying for him in my house. I'm still praying for him and hoping, wishing for the best, but I just can't get behind that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's see what Marco Polo's got to say. And he might be our next president. You never know. This guy, look at him.
Straits have to be open. They're going to be open one way or the other. So they need to be open. What's happening there is unlawful. It's illegal. It's unsustainable for the world. It's unacceptable. I don't know of any country in the world that does it. The Russians are not in favor of a tolling system. The Chinese are not in favor of a tolling system. I mean, there's no country in the world that's in favor of a tolling system except the regime in Iran. So that's not acceptable. That cannot happen. The straits need to be open, unimpeded, without tolls, and obviously that needs to happen immediately as soon as anything's agreed to.
Our North America correspondent David Willis says it's currently unclear how much the strikes might affect the fragile ceasefire and the ongoing peace talks.
In a rather terse three-line statement, U.S. Central Command makes the point that these were defensive strikes aimed at protecting U.S. forces on the ground. And the targets, they say, included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to place mines, as that statement puts it. But the statement doesn't provide very much more in the way of detail, although there are unofficial reports.
Look at this guy's eyes. He gets such good sleep, I bet. This guy sleeps for 8 hours a day, a night. Just beautiful sleep. Man, I'm so envious of this guy's sleep. I already know it. He's got great dreams. He wakes up, his eyes are all crusty from sleeping good. Oh, man.
That there were explosions heard in the port city of Bandar Abbas, which is overlooking the Strait of Hormuz, and also that 2 Iranian vessels were targeted that were thought to be planting mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So this is all part of what CENTCOM is calling here an ongoing attempt to protect U.S. forces in the region there whilst preserving the ceasefire agreement. Now, that ceasefire agreement has been in place for about 6 weeks now. There have been various infractions. Whether this development imperils that ceasefire remains to be seen, of course, at a time when negotiations are underway in the hope of getting a negotiated settlement to this conflict in Qatar.
Yeah, on those negotiations in Qatar that you mentioned there, Marco Rubio is saying that an Iran deal is still possible within days. So there's still a lot of focus, a lot of attention on those negotiations and a lot of hope, presumably.
That's right, although a lot of mixed messaging, as we've become used to in the course of this conflict from this administration. Mark, President Trump making the point over the weekend that the two sides were close, as he put it, to reaching agreement, then saying that he was urging his people, his negotiators, to take their time. Marco Rubio saying earlier today that an agreement could be reached within the day itself before, as you put it so succinctly, somewhat backing off that time frame, saying it could take a matter of days because there was a lot of language to be finessed. We know that of the two sides, the United States is perhaps the most hungry for an agreement. President Trump has made no secret of his impatience in that regard. And of course, we have elections coming up in just over 5 months' time here, in which his Republican Party's majority is in peril.
First of all, I just want to say that I don't know exactly. I see a lot of this if people. I see a lot of these big celebrities, news people talking about how if something isn't turned around soon, the Republican Party is cooked for the next election. And I don't understand why that is. Why would so many people abandon their beliefs and their party, just because the president messed up a bunch? Let's say, if that's what you're saying, if the president is screwing the pooch, and does that mean doing the dog? I just realized that. Screwing the pooch. He screwed the pooch. Is that a saying? That's weird. Anyways, so let's say he screwed the pooch. Is that a saying? We got to figure this out. Let me see. What does screwed the pooch? Is that a saying? Screwed the pooch is a vulgar slang idiom that means to make a major mistake, to completely mess up, or to fail spectacularly. It describes serious error or blunder. The phrase comes from American military and aviation slang, likely dating back to the 1950s or earlier. It was popularized in Tom Wolfe's 1979 book, The Right Stuff, about test pilots and early space program. It's a crude variation of older expressions like F the dog or screw the dog, which meant wasting time or doing something pointless and stupid. Wow. All right. Well, that's what we learned today. So let's say Trump screwed the pooch. And so now we just switch parties? I don't get that. Somebody help me. Put it in the comment section. Why would we just abandon being Republicans? If we're Republicans, let's say, and we all are gung-ho about it, why would we just start voting for a Democrat? In my opinion, it's going to be all about who is running. Okay, so if Marco Rubio and that boy J.D. Vidadance, if they're the ones running and everybody's like, no, you guys didn't help at all during this administration, we're not voting for you, we don't buy what you're selling, blah, 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 I get that. But what if somebody comes up, somebody who's new to politics, right? And he's honest, and he's been a roofer for a long time. He knows what it's like to be a hard-working man in America. He doesn't want to play those games up in Washington. He says, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to play Fortnite for a few hours a day, and I'm going to spend time with my family a few hours a day. I'm going to spend a few hours in the gym a day, 2 to 3 hours in the gym, lots of time eating, and then I'm going to spend a few hours on America a day. Maybe that's the guy we need, because at least he's being honest, right? And he's not going to be taking any private jets. I don't know who this guy is, but I bet you he's just going to be going to the gym, okay, and back. That's it. Other than that, he's going to be at home with his family, and this guy, we can trust him. Anyways, but yeah, why I saw maybe Nick Fuentes, is that his name? Which I've looked for him on YouTube. I can't find him on YouTube. I was thinking of watching his stuff because I actually like what he says a lot. Not everything. But he is one of those polarizing figures that I'm interested in what he has to say. But he had said, I think it was him. I'm not going to quote. But I'm pretty sure he said he was going to vote. He wants the Republicans to pay. That's what he said. He hopes the Republicans pay, and we're going to end up with a Democrat. He's going to vote Democrat. I think that's, and I'm like, why? If you don't believe in those values, now I'm not one who is like claiming a party, so I can't really put myself in his shoes. I'm going to vote for whoever's better. That's what I think that's what we all should be doing ultimately. But some people have really strong values about like one thing, I guess, and they're not willing to compromise that. Like maybe abortion. I guess Democrats are all for abortion. Just because you're voting for a Democrat, abortion's going to be allowed. I don't know if that's true or not. Excuse me. That's another topic right there to look up. Stuff is exactly that question. But anyways. Yeah, why would you just abandon your whole party? Tell me that. My 7 viewers, if anybody knows. Love you guys, all 7 of you. Praise God. All right, let's check out Face the Nation. This is more recent than that last video. This video dropped 4 hours ago. And this is a CBS News report. And we're going to see what they have to say about where do peace negotiations with Iran stand. And we're just going to take a little peek behind the curtain and see what they got to say.
Hi, and thank you for joining us. We are 12 and a half weeks into the war with Iran, and if this past weekend was any indication, the road to peace will be bumpy and unpredictable. On Friday, CBS News reported the U.S. was preparing to renew offensive strikes on Iran, but had not yet made a final decision. That ultimately did not happen. In fact, Monday morning, President Trump said negotiations with Iran were, quote, proceeding nicely.
And he does seem to be flip-flopping on this. When I checked out on Friday, I thought we might be going to war. I thought something might happen over the weekend or whatever. And no.
But just hours later, U.S. Central Command launched what it described as defensive strikes on Iran. CENTCOM says it targeted Iranian missile sites and boats that were trying to lay sea mines. The regime calls it a violation of the ceasefire, but the Trump administration is still pushing for a deal. Here's what Secretary of State Marco Rubio had to say.
Like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days.
We already saw this.
Settle on.
Security analyst and Marine Corps veteran Aaron McLean joins me now. He's also host of the School of War podcast. So, Aaron, what message is the U.S. sending to Iran by striking during these peace talks, even if the strikes were in self-defense, according to CENTCOM?
Oh, shit.
Right. Well, what we heard from the military was that there was mine-laying activity in the Strait. We apparently go
Dang,
after
boy.
boats that are
Why didn't
behaving
y'all
in
say
such
something?
a manner to lead us to believe that they're laying mines. And then the
Pardon my
planes, the
language.
American planes, get shot at, so we shoot back at the
I really
Iranian
screwed the
missile
pooch.
systems that are shooting at the planes. This all happening, by the way, simultaneously as we continue to hear encouraging things from the White House, the administration, that we're close to a deal. It really is a tale of two wars and a very curious juxtaposition between a pretty spicy set of circumstances in the Strait itself and still relatively encouraging rhetoric from the administration.
What do you mean by a tale of two wars? Can you explain that further?
Just this striking juxtaposition between a pretty violent time in the Strait, where the United States is striking targets, getting shot at, striking back in return. Meanwhile, a White House that says that the ceasefire is still in effect and that we are close to a deal. These two things don't seem to go together, and yet here we are.
What are the thorniest issues that still need to be addressed in any deal?
Just little matters, Lindsay, like the Strait of Hormuz and the disposition of the Iranian nuclear program. I joke, of course, these are enormously complicated matters, both of them. For the Strait of Hormuz, this, of course, is a body of water that the Iranians essentially took hostage after.
Are they that complicated? Tell me if I'm wrong. Are they that complicated? Open up the Strait of Hormuz, give us the nuclear stuff, or keep your stuff and open up the Strait of Hormuz. We're sorry for wasting your time. Figure it out. It doesn't sound like they want to come up off their little dust.
The joint Israeli-U.S. campaign launched on February the 28th. That was predictable, but there doesn't seem to have been a lot of proactive preparation for this. In return for the ceasefire back in April, Iran was supposed to open the strait. United States gave the ceasefire. Iran did not open the strait. Now Iran wants sanctions relief and the ending of the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports in return for opening the strait. I'm a little skeptical that that process will be smooth. And then, of course, there's the question of the Iranian nuclear program itself, a stated war aim of the United States to prevent Iran from ever getting a nuclear weapon. My understanding is that we are not actually negotiating the details of the nuclear program right now. We are negotiating about general principles that will lead to further negotiations during an extended ceasefire.
Well, the president also now says that he wants Middle Eastern nations like Saudi Arabia to sign on to the Abraham Accords and normalize relations with Israel as part of an Iran deal. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that was a really striking development. It kind of came out of left field. I think what's going on behind the scenes there, because this is a surprising thing for the president to say, the odds of Saudi Arabia, for example, normalizing relations with Israel in the short run are pretty low.
So basically what he said was, we're not even negotiating the terms of the nuclear dust in Strait of Hormuz. They're talking about, here we go. Are you ready? They're talking about negotiating the terms of the negotiations. That's what I just heard. And all this stuff with the stocks going up, you know, people are saying it's connected. Are we going to be that surprised if we find out that Trump and somebody in Iran, they're just in it together, they're just making money. They're just got the stock market going, doing whatever they want. Tell me what you think down in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe, tell somebody about it. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. We've got 82 right now. Praise God for that 82 in less than 2 months. That's great. But I need to change my trajectory. So I'm going to be cranking out the content, and I'm going to be cranking out small videos. You know, they say you got to put in hashtags and you got to put this in, and I'm just sick of all that. I'm just going to start pushing it out. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it hard. So thank you so much for crashing the party with me. Tell me what you think about all this. What's your conspiracy about the Iran war? Give me a good one. Tell me what's really going on. I love you. Thank you. And holla at me tomorrow.